Alright, hey Yaki Gang, Yakitori guy here. Just a quick live. I was filming all day today and wanted to take a break and go on a live. I've sort of enjoyed these lives where I could answer Q&A sort of questions live as I'm just doing other things here. So if you have any questions, last time I wasn't able to read them, but hopefully if you guys ask any questions, I'll be able to see these on the side right here. But just a quick live, and I wanted to sort of unbox these charcoals that I recently got, and I want to start using them. And I know that you guys have seen some of my other videos on lump charcoal, have done bincho grill, bincho tan, but just wanted to see like what other options are out there and just talk about them. And so these are two charcoals right here. Let's go ahead and open these up. So right here, it says Touryu Binchotan Japanese style briquette charcoal, and this is from Mutual Trading Inc., LA Mutual Trading Inc., but I believe they're associated with a bunch of sort of they're Japanese food restaurant distributors. So restaurants can use Mutual Trading for getting all sorts of things like anything from soy sauce to maybe ramen noodles, ramen soup concentrates, and they also have charcoal. And I know that they do sell binchotan, but this one I got I'm pretty confident this is Ogatan, which is the compressed charcoal. And I know that because on the side right here, sorry, my phone going off, it says right here, basically briquette charcoal. So it's definitely misleading. And we'll find out when we open this up, because it's definitely not binchotan. Binchotan would be sort of the solid wood right here, made from these solid logs. This would be binchotan, but this would most likely be compressed. And I also know that because the price of this 22-pound box, it ranges, depending on who you get it from, it's maybe around $20, $25, $30. I've seen these at Japanese grocery store. Tokyo Central has them as well. So you can see right here. Right here, this is the compressed Ogatan. So some of them are long, some of them are shorter. They basically just break. I have to crack these. Yeah, they just crack. So it's compressed. I've used these in the past, and a lot of yakitori shops in Japan can use these as well. They work similar to binchotan, but it's made from basically compressed sawdust and wood chip material that's compressed and carbonized. So it's similar to binchotan. It's generally odorless, smokeless, and it can last 3 to 5 hours depending on the quality of these. And so I like using these as sort of a cheaper alternative to binchotan, but it can definitely be misleading because this box says binchotan, but it's definitely Ogatan. And as I said, at some shops in Japan, or actually a lot of places, if they're cooking on charcoal, it might not be yakitori, it could be all sorts of maybe fish and other meats. A lot of times when they're cooking with sumi or charcoal, it happens to be this Ogatan style right here. And only at the higher end places they start using binchotan, and at the highest end places they're going to use basically the Kishu binchotan from Wakayama. All right, so I'm not seeing the questions yet, even though last time I did a live, it came in sort of afterwards and I was able to see it. But if you guys have any questions, just type away. And so this is a Touryu binchotan, or not binchotan, but Ogatan right here. I found this though. I actually have not heard about this, and on Instagram I've asked Yaki Gang if you guys have heard about this Prime 6 charcoal. I found this at my local, basically large grocery store. It's Ralph's. I think they're part of the Kroger family. So it's just a huge grocery store. It was in the charcoal section. It was under closeout. So this was $9.99 for this box. And I was like, oh, it looks to be basically a Ogatan compressed style charcoal for $10, similar to the char box that I did a review on a few months ago. So I figured might as well just, for $10, try this out. But I haven't opened this or anything yet, so let's see what it's like inside. And as I said, this was basically $10 for, what's the weight on this? This is 9 pounds. So 10, and then it was closed out $10. I believe it was maybe about $22 for regular price of this. the sticker in here. Basically it says 9 pounds of this equals to 30 pounds of, I'm assuming it's like a bag of lump charcoal. And inside, so basically the shape is very similar to the char blocks. We got the hexagon shape with sort of these ridges all around. I'm curious, like in terms of maybe sort of density or weight. I think they're pretty similar. This one slightly kind of feels like it might be a little bit more heavier, maybe a little bit more dense. And that does matter, as we know from the Ogatan or the char blocks video, or doing the tan charcoal comparisons, that the denser it is, and same thing with, you know, when you have a denser charcoal like binchotan, it's less ashy. So if it's sort of brittle, it's gonna create a lot of ash that's gonna cover it up, and that lowers a lot of the heat, that infrared heat that's gonna come out of the charcoal. So we'll see how these work. May try it out today. I am gonna grill some other things right now. Let's see. All right, got some comment right there about let's drink some sake with yakitori. Always down. I don't have any drinks right now other than drinking some water. Still filming, so don't want to be all red on my YouTube videos. But cheers, see you guys out there. But yeah, so this, I just wanted to do a quick sort of unboxing. And just curious, and just wanted to show some of these charcoals that I do find that are binchotan alternatives. I do believe that this Prime 6, I think I saw it on Amazon and on their website. So even though this was closed out at the grocery store, Ralph's, I do believe it's not like they're out of business. I think they're still selling these. So if you're curious about these, maybe check these out, use it, and let me know. Some people did say they have used it before and they liked it, so I'll check it out. And for these, basically, if you guys are in the LA area, check out Mutual Trading, or if you go to Tokyo Central, you will be able to find these. But just know that even though it says binchotan, make sure to check the side. If it says briquette, it's definitely not binchotan. But I've used this style, this one before, and I actually like it. And one of the things I do is sometimes if I'm trying to I don't have enough binchotan, or I'm just trying to save costs, I actually put a bed of this on the bottom, this ogatan on the bottom, and on top with the binchotan, and that way sort of the heat stays consistent, but then I still get sort of the characteristics that I want, maybe flavor-wise, from the binchotan as well. So mix and match is something that I was doing in one of the shops that I was working in Japan, and kind of continue doing it here when I don't want to use all binchotan. So mix and match is possible, but even just using this, definitely possible. Let's see some other questions. How much charcoal do you use each meal session? So kind of depends on how much of a grill that I'm filling up. Let's say over here, we got this 24-inch bincho grill right here. Usually I only fill it up halfway inside the grill. And that's for maybe cooking for about 4 to 6 people. I don't need to use the full length of the inside of the grill filled up charcoal, so maybe half filled up with charcoal. And then I do have to add few sticks throughout the night. So let's say if I'm grilling for 3 to 4 hours. So in cost wise, let's say if I was going with like a box like this, Brincho Grill's website, I think it's somewhere around $100. I feel like I'm using about a pound to 1.5 pounds of charcoal if I'm cooking for like 4 hours. And in that case, it's gonna range about maybe $8 to $10 per session, roughly. So it's similar to using, if you buy a whole a bag of lump charcoal, that could be $8 for the whole bag. So you do spend more in terms of the cost, but it's also concentrated. I've cooked with lump charcoal for like 4th of July recently, and I ended up using a lot of the lump charcoal because it burns through really quickly, whereas something like binchotan or ogatan, they're gonna last a little bit longer, so you don't have to refill it as much. And as I said, like this is binchotan from, I believe it was Vietnam. This is Vietnam wood. So not as dense as, let's say, the binchotan from Kishu or Tosan, Japan, where those are even much more dense and concentrated, and they last longer, but they cost more. So you sort of get this price for how long it lasts, how much it's concentrated. The reason why restaurants want to use a lot of these concentrated, more dense charcoal is you don't have to refill it as much. If I was to use a lump charcoal, I'm constantly loading into, maybe every 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, I have to load more charcoal into it. Whereas this, I'm just adding another stick or two basically every hour. So just to kind of keep the same heat going. All right. Yeah, so the sites that I recommend for binchotan, if you want binchotan, other than me going to some of these local LA-based stores where I can find charcoal locally directly, at least on website, I think Bincho Grill, they make it easier. You can just go on their website and buy some binchotan. I know on a website like Korin, they're like a New York-based sort of knife ware. They sell like the kondo and some charcoal. You can get it from there. And Amazon, they have stuff. And just as a reminder, if you guys go to my Amazon shop, which is the amazon.com/shop/yakitori guy, I do have linked to a lot of the charcoals that I have basically done the reviews for, including the tan, the char blocks, the bincho grill, binchotan, and other accessory equipment, knives, supplies, whatever you guys need to start yakitori. It's all on that site. But yeah, you can definitely order if it's much more convenient for you to just order things on Amazon. Just go to my shop and you should be able to get it from there. But sometimes the prices fluctuate on Amazon, so just being transparent, you might be able to find better prices off Amazon. But know that if you do shop on Amazon, basically I do get a few percent kickback. So you're technically supporting this site, but sometimes Amazon prices go low. So if you find it when Amazon prices are low, buy it on Amazon, and it helps support the site as well. Let's see, how do you buy chicken when? Can I make this bigger? Here we go. How do you buy chicken when planning for yakitori parties? Like if you only buy whole chicken and you want every guest to at least each of the skewer, too much price. Yes. Okay. So. If you guys followed along some of my videos, I have one video that's called grilling, like how to grill yakitori. I'm doing it on an electric grill indoors, but that one I showed you pretty much step by step in the order that I do it for sort of my course-based yakitori dinners. And you will see that, yes, I have pretty much every part of the chicken used as a skewer that I offer, but the breasts, I only do like one skewer each, and you're gonna end up with at least a breast and a half left of excess breast. I save that for other purposes. If you're making some other stir fry or pasta dishes or something later on, use the breast. I've also, I like to dry them and make jerky out of them. So maybe try just using those for other things. And there's another dish too that I do hope to do a tutorial soon. When I do some of these side dishes tutorial, I have a dish where I take the breasts and basically sort of brine it and sous vide it in a log format, and it becomes essentially chicken, like meat, basically bologna or chicken ham. It's called torihamu, so chicken ham, and it's a cold dish that can be served as an appetizer that you can make using basically extra chicken breast that you have lying around. And I recommend that way too, so you're not feeding your friends, your guests. They're not getting full off a lot of breast skewers, and they can enjoy all the other much more fun cuts of the yakitori, whether it's the skin, the oysters, the neck, all the other cuts. Don't get them too full on breasts. They can eat chicken breasts and other grilled chicken sandwiches and whatnot. So for yakitori, give them all the fun parts. Do I pre-make all your skewers? Yep, yeah. So we yakitori basically, if this is at a restaurant like I was in Japan, in the mornings we'll come into the shop 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock a.m. and we'll be cutting the chickens and skewering all day, and we'll be ready basically to start the fire maybe about 4:30. 5 o'clock is when the guest starts coming, and the reason for that is that way you can take the skewer from the deli counter, fridge, or underneath, and basically put it on the grill. It's pretty hard to basically take like a chicken thigh and then cut that into pieces, make your negima, kind of like how a sushi restaurant might operate and taking a piece of the fish and cutting and making nigiri. Like I wish it's much easier to do that with chicken. But by the time you take that thigh and make negima, that's a few minutes in, then you have to grill it. That means each piece you're pumping up, that's going to be like 15 minutes each piece after grilling it. So it's just much more easier to have it pre-skewered. And another similar question people ask is, can I skewer it, the day before, night before? What's the best way? I always recommend it the day of. You're going to notice definitely a quality difference in flavor and texture from if you do it the morning of. It's going to be the best. If you do it the night before, it still will work. But if you do it completely like 24 hours before, it's definitely going to just, some of the meats like the breast, it's going to get a little bit flakier, pastier. So there's definitely a flavor, moisture content, and just texture differences between if you break down a chicken that morning and make skewers that morning for evening dinner. What kind of knife do I recommend? I have a video for that, so definitely go check that out. It's in my top five basic questions that I get video. So I will briefly show you the knife that I was using today. This is my Tojiro Garaski, and this is basically Tojiro is a brand that I recommend for. They don't do any crazy markups because they're not selling these like at Bed Bath & Beyond, Williams Sonoma, whatnot. You can buy them on Amazon and other websites. And for a home cook, Tojiro, for the chicken cutting knife or the general cutting knives, I recommend Tojiro. You can find it on Amazon, or maybe your local knife shops should carry them. But once again, I'm gonna plug in my Amazon shop. So amazon.com/shop/yakitori guide. I do have the Tojiro basically Honeski. Misono is another similar price point, very easy to use stainless steel brand. It's all on my Amazon shop, but go check out that video on, basically it's called like top 5 questions from Yaki Gang, because there's questions always about tare storing, knife questions, what kind of sake I use. Those are always top questions. So I ended up just making a video. So check that video out. Question about dipping basically Wagyu into your tare pot, and if it's gonna keep an eye on it in case it spoils faster. I don't have any say if it's gonna spoil any faster or not, as long as you maintain your tare. And that's another question that I get a lot, so that's in the top 5 questions. But just keep an eye on your tare. Constantly use it. That's the best way to maintain your tare, because constantly, when you're using it more, you're probably reheating it more, adding new hot tare into it. Constantly using it will just make sure that it's constantly being upkept. But I don't have, in my tare pot, I only have chicken dripping. So that's another thing that I can't tell you much, because I don't want to mix non-chicken flavors into my tare pot. So if I'm cooking up Wagyu, so I do have a Wagyu video coming out. Basically the tare, if I am using a tare, I have another container and I'm brushing it on. And that's something that I recommend if you're doing seafood, pork, or other vegetables that's not part of your tare concoction. So basically for my tare mix, I'm using green onions, negi in there. That way I will stick a negima skewer in there because the tare already has the negi flavors, but I'm not gonna stick, if I'm doing tomato skewers or zucchini skewers, I'm not gonna stick that tomato zucchini into my tare pot, just so I know what's going into my tare pot. But yeah, just keep an eye on your Wagyu tare pot, and as long as you're constantly using it and reheating it, adding more tare into it, it should be good. Because my tare right now is 3.5 years, and my master's tare, it's 38 years, and I've been to yakitori shops that have 50-year-old tare and 100-year-old tare. So tare, as long as you're using it, keep an eye on it, it can last generations. How much is the Ogatan price per box? So this one, it ranges. I think, if you get wholesale deals on these, they're $20 for this 22-pound box. But I think at retail at the Tokyo Central Japanese grocery store that I've been to, I found these for maybe $25 or $30 or so. So it's definitely a good price. And this can last you, probably, this will probably last you the whole summer if you're just cooking for just you and your friends in the backyard. It definitely lasts a while. Where do you purchase authentic binchotan? All on my Amazon shop. You can get it there. Say, if you could only pick one skewer to eat forever, what would it be? Ooh, that's That's a tough one. I mean, all the skewers that I make, by the way, I like them, including even the breasts that I showed you guys, the breasts with the fats in them. I've kind of sort of tailored all my skewers to be in a way that I enjoy eating them. But if I have to say like what is my favorite skewer, I'm not gonna go anything like unique and say, oh, I like the neck or oysters. I'm not gonna go fancy like that. I think I'm just gonna default back to I really like the negima or the teba, the wing. And the wings, I show you guys the open sort of boned out fillet method, but I actually like it whole. So it's either gonna be the teba, like whole, or the negima. Very generic yakitori, but I think because it's so generic and very simple, shops could either make it right and really good, or they can just mess it up. So I think it takes some of the simpler skewers definitely take some effort to make right. Yeah. Open Pokemon cards while I cook yakitori live and watch more often. Yeah. What about? I know that will get all the clicks for sure. But what about making Gundam models while cooking yakitori? Because that's merging basically the two genres that I like. What's in the super tender pop? Basically, I combined the negima and the knee Carter's lollipop and the tender AF skewer sort of all at once. So on the top, it is going to be the oyster. In the middle, it's basically sort of the knee Carter's lollipop with the negi in the middle. But then in between those are going to be negi. So it's a pretty big skewer. I kind of did it as sort of a fun skewer, and kind of do recommend maybe enjoying the knee cartilage lollipop and the tender AF skewer and the negima on its own. That way you can really enjoy each of the parts. Do I have a favorite yakitori restaurant in San Diego, California? I haven't been to any yakitori restaurants in San Diego, California, so I can't tell you, but if you guys have any recommendations, write in the comments. Because of COVID, it's been kind of hard to eat out. But now that things are opening up again, one of the things that I do hope to do is, and I used to do this basically pre-COVID times, I would travel. Like for example, I shared about it in some of my videos, but the last sort of city destination that I went to for yakitori, prior to going to Japan every 6 months, I couldn't do that. But then basically I went to New York and went to Touryu, which is the sister shop of the Torishiki, the #1 shop in Japan, and then also Chikarashi Iso, where basically famous chef Atsushi Kono, he was there, and I got to work with them in the back making skewers. That was sort of my last yakitori related travels, but now that it's starting to open up again, I do hope to be able to fly out to different cities and try out different yakitori restaurants. And I think I want to say, like, within the past 2 years, more yakitori shops have again opening up in different cities. So let's just say yakitori lovers or yaki gang is growing more and more. So I sort of I think I have to thank you guys for being fans and interested in yakitori, because the more of all of us that like yakitori out there, I'm gonna we're all gonna see more yakitori restaurants pop up, and not just yakitori restaurants, because anyone could just take chicken breast and skewer and put teriyaki sauce and call it yakitori, which that's not the yakitori that you guys are learning on this channel. So hopefully we're gonna see more, the yakitori, kind of like the yakitori that you can get at the really high-end places in Japan. Hopefully we'll see more of that, which I call kodawari, meaning attention to detail craftsman yakitori. Basically every piece, put like the attention to detail that Jiro dreams of sushi would do into his fish. Same way with the chicken. So I hope to see some of these much more detailed yakitori shops moving forward. What beer? Let's see. Is there a specific chicken that you look for? Does freshness? Yeah, freshness is most important. Another thing is, I would say, just knowing where the farm comes from. If you go for any of the big factory farms, those Tyson's, Foster Farms, place like that, and compare it to a smaller place that has like organic or pasture ready, you're gonna definitely notice differences in texture, the smell, just the sliminess. Those are all gonna be different. So I try to get basically the best I can get without breaking the bank. And that's why I recommend Mary's. It's like available at Whole Foods everywhere. It's not the cheapest, but it's also not the most expensive. And they are not small farmers. They're definitely more industrialized now, but at least I can trust the consistency of that chicken. And they sell them enough because it's sold through Whole Foods that if you go to Whole Foods, you'll be able to see the date that it was packaged and at least choose a newer chicken from there. All right. What beer do I like? Asahi Super Dry is definitely the beer that I recommend with yakitori, but any sort of simple lagers, so any of the Japanese ones, lagers or pilsners, so Sapporo, Asahi, or like just cheap beers like Korean beers, you know, the Height Obis, or like just Mexican beers, you know, like that Tecate or something, just something that really just help wash down sort of all that smokiness and greasiness, like I think works well. I've tried to pair like craft beers with yakitori. I think you get a little bit of conflict because you have a lot of flavors going on with the yakitori that you want to enjoy, but then you have all these flavors from that beer too, and it becomes conflict. But besides beer, definitely I like shochu and sake. So you guess, you know, some of these are some of my favorite bottles. So I recommend these. Can you do more drink pairings on your videos and specific dishes? So yes, I had that umeshu video. But you know what? Like I didn't get that much views or clicks on that video compared to some of the other ones. So I'm not sure if rest of Yaki Gang really want to know about drink pairings. But if you have any questions, you know, feel free to hit me up in these YouTube live sessions or on IG live sessions. But yeah, maybe I'll do sort of more drink pairings. Do I do any else yakitori events? So yeah, I've sort of paused on my dinners, pop-up events, whatnot, but I think I'm gonna get back to it soon. So for now, I just want to focus on sort of videos and help teach you guys. But as things start opening up and I have these opportunities to meet other chefs and restaurants that might be able to invite me in and I can use their facilities. So like, you know, maybe going to New York, Seattle, you know, Austin, Dallas, and can go to some of these yakitori restaurants. And I just have to bring my knives and they have the grills and the charcoals and the chicken ready for me. I think, you know, more of these events could possibly happen. So if you want to see some of these more events locally, start going to your local yakitori shops and start talking to them about this channel or me, and you know, maybe you guys can help me grow and more demand for me, then I can get pulled into some of these other cities. And in the past, I've also have done like in Chicago and New York, I did a sort of Yaki Gang food crawls or bar crawls. So that's something that I would love to get back into again at different cities. Do I have a general amount of time I cook each part of the chicken over charcoal? Is it all experiential on it? Yeah, in general, you're gonna probably spend about 8 to 10 minutes per piece. And then people ask me, how do you know when it's done? So there's not a really time thing. I can just tell by the color, sort of the texture, just sort of the juices on top, how much is dripped out, and just timing as well. So I would recommend for you guys, it's all going to be different depending on what grill you're using, what charcoal you're using, what's your temperature. It's all dependent on that and how big are your skewers. So you have to pretty much just, it's all experience, trial and error. And if you're unsure, just use a thermometer, probe it in there, open it up. If you have chicken breasts, you know, make 2 skewers, one that you're going to serve to someone, but yours, maybe just open it up and just see if it's still pink or not. Like all of those over time, you start seeing patterns and you just kind of know when it's done. Yeah, after I'm done with more of the yakitoris, I'm starting to move on to do more other skewers, so other kushiyaki items, you know, whether it's seafoods or other meats. I'm gonna get into that, but I definitely have a lot of side dishes that either I like to eat out or they're in my arsenal of just things that I serve that I would like to start doing some of these side dishes, side dish recipe videos as well. Non-yakitori wise, I do have a chicken ramen video coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, definitely want to do more of these sort of other items, especially for some of you guys that have been watching my channel for, it's been a year and 2 months, I think, since we started. So if you guys have been around for like a year, definitely, you probably have seen all these skewers and have maybe made a few times. So definitely want to do some other items as well to go along, especially the ones that I like to make. And besides videos, if you guys are on Instagram, I do tend to post some of the other things I like to cook in my stories too. So. Yeah, CH talking about my tojiro honeski, and then he's saying it's watch out for the tip of the honeski, very sharp. Definitely true, and that's the characteristic of these chicken cutting knives. It's just that sharp point, so that you can get into all the crevices. Kind of like using an X-Acto knife blade, really get into that detailed crevices. So that's what makes it. But because of that, yes, watch out sharpness of getting inside, let's say, your skin, but also don't drop that knife, because that will immediately shatter if you were to drop that, because it's so sharp. All right, more videos on grilling more seafood items. Yep, so as I said, I will do more non-meat items. Generally speaking though, and I'm just gonna give you guys, I'll make those videos, but as kind of a hint, it's pretty easy to skewer and grill the other items. Like if you have shrimp, devein it, take this shell off, devein it, skewer it through. Don't overcook it. You're gonna see the shrimp. If it's a C, it's cooked. If it starts becoming a circle, that's overcooked. So some of the other cooking knowledge and techniques and tips of cooking seafood on pan and whatnot, it's probably going to apply to these seafood skewers. I would say the chicken skewers are definitely going to be some of the harder ones, which is why we go really in depth with a lot of these videos for the chicken ones. But I like cooking, so I do have a meat video, short ribs and wagyu video coming out. But I want you guys to watch these videos. But generally speaking, it's going to be just get it seared and brown and cook outside, but keep them inside still moist and pink. It's kind of the general same way that you would cook a steak. It's just smaller bite size and on stick. So I would say the chicken one is probably the one that people, maybe have the most difficulty, or just don't know the depth of sort of the nuances of yakitori masters in Japan, what they've learned with chicken versus like cooking vegetables, seafood, other meats. I think a lot of people are familiar with it because you can cook it all the time on your, larger grills and whatnot too. But I will make those videos, and please watch them because the more people watch them, obviously the YouTube algorithms, all that work, and more people are going to know about this channel. And we're here, you and I, Yaki Gang, we're here because we want to spread yakitori culture to the world. All right, yeah, debating to buy a yak grill. So whether you buy a yak grill or electric grills, you use your Weber's and Bincho grill. There's all these different grill options out there. That's why I make these review videos. They all have their pros and cons. I recommend whatever you have or whatever you can get, start right away. And the more you practice on it, you just get better and better. Speed challenge. How quickly could I process and skewer 2 whole chickens? Breaking down one chicken, depending on if I'm trying to go fast or if I'm trying to go slow, or like take my time, it's like anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. I've realized that if I can't go any faster than that 3 minutes, it's like, why rush it? So I just go at whatever the pace I feel comfortable with. And in terms of skewering from those broken down pieces into skewers, add like another 25 minutes to that per chicken, 25-30 minutes. Hey, the speed challenge, it might be cool for a wow factor, but at the end of the day, if the skewers or the cuts are not clean, like that bothers me more. So I have never really pushed myself for speed. I just always push for efficiency. All right, make a TikTok too. I have a TikTok. Yakitori guy TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, go on TikTok. I started my TikTok, Yakitori guy TikTok, in February. Simply because I feel like every channel has different audiences. I first started on Instagram, then I started on YouTube, because with YouTube, there's different audiences globally. If you Google something, terms, yakitori terms, my videos will pop up. So it was important that I figured to make YouTube videos that last forever, that were more than just the Instagram short videos. And then the TikTok, I started because TikTok has a lot more younger generation of audience. And for me, it's very important that everyone, including the new generation, know yakitori. So I started a TikTok account in February, and it's actually been my fastest growing channel. I have like over 60,000 followers on TikTok. So YouTubers, you guys, let's bump this up. I think we're at like 11K as of this week on YouTube. So let's tell all your friends about this channel, so more people will be watching on YouTube, and that will help encourage me to make more videos for this channel that hopefully you guys will continue to enjoy to watch. Yaki Gang merch. So you probably have seen like me wear my hat and whatnot, and you've probably seen in the other videos. So far, I've only done the merch, like the hats and stickers, as sort of surprise gifts for some of my top donors who are donating the chickens. I kind of I didn't want to get into business of selling merch because I want to focus on making videos and do my dinners. I don't want to get into like e-commerce and whatnot. So I have it as gifts. So hint, hint, those are my end of the year sort of gifts that I sent out, like hats and beanies, stickers, pins, whatnot, that I sent out based on how much you donated. So if you guys haven't donated chickens yet, maybe you should, because at the end of the year, there might be some surprises. So yeah, the question about using American briquettes like Kingsford to heat up your binchotan instead of using a gas grill. There's nothing wrong with it, but depending on how much of the briquettes you use, and if you end up using one of those lighter fluid soaked briquettes, that will add unnecessary flavors and smell to your binchotan. But I've done not briquettes, but with lump charcoal, like because they light up so quickly, I put some lump and I put in the binchotan. And by the time I'm cooking with the binchotan, I feel like all the lump charcoal smells have gone away. So you definitely can, but if you want to be very, if you want to be a purist about it, maybe just stick to the gas and then the binchotan on top. All right, so I only wanted to do this for 20 minutes. It's gonna be almost 40 minutes in a minute or two. So if you guys have any last minute questions, type them in as fast as you can right now and I will answer them. But I just want to keep these short and have more frequent sort of lives when I can. I think that would be much more fun. And as you guys have new questions that can come back in. So if you have any last minute questions, solution of basically transporting done skewers from home to like a park. The only method I know of, which I've done basically for like a catering, like on Instagram the other day, I just posted about a large wedding event we did. That was pretty much my one and only catering type of event I did. We did have large industrial ice chests and we just filled it with sort of these or much larger versions of these and just had ice above. But that's a big bulky thing. So maybe another solution. Actually, when I went to parks, I would put skewers just in Ziploc bags and put that Ziploc bag in a sort of a soft cooler filled with ice packs or ice. And kind of depends. Like if you're only just gonna be out there away for like an hour or two from the park, I think that's probably enough. If you know that you're gonna cook it. But if you're gonna go on a few day trek or something, you want to keep all that cold as possible. But even you don't want to keep it for that long because chickens. Even fridge is going to degrade after a day after you skewer it. So just cook it ASAP. All right. Recommendation at Seattle restaurant. I don't have any, but hopefully more restaurants starts opening up everywhere, and I can travel to these places and keep an eye. So I on YouTube, I've been doing more of these tutorial videos. I want to say like on Instagram, I do more showcasing different restaurants and whatnot. But maybe I might be able to take some of those footage and make them into introduction to different restaurant videos here for YouTube. But yeah, so that's 40 minutes, guys. As I said, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys either came in here just because you had your notifications on, thank you so much. If you guys came in from Instagram, thank you so much. But I love helping you guys out. I love answering these questions. My whole mission is to spread yakitori to the world. So Yaki Gang, I love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, just basically, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, right? In the comments, I try to answer them as much as I can, and make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Tell all your friends about this. The more this grows, the more I'm excited to keep this going. And if you really enjoyed it and might be interested in merch later down, some free merch gifts later down, you can always donate some chickens, and yeah, you might get some surprises later. But that's it for now. This video should go to the channel, so you guys should be able to rewatch it. And I hope to have more live soon. Thanks for all the questions, guys. All right, see you guys.